So welcome to the show, Dave. Dave, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell the listeners a little bit about how you got started in shooting and what kind of shooting you like to do now and what you do in the shooting community, if anything.
Ish. Ooh, oh,
Ish.
thank you. Thank you,
Ish.
first of all, for having me on your podcast, live stream, show,
Prestigious.
prestigious
Number one.
Number one.
number one.
Yeah.
Numero uno. Okay.
Numero uno.
Hi again. My name is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I don't think you have anybody else named Dave, but if you do, you can also call me Diversity Dave because I bring a lot to the table. That's kind of the way that I would describe myself. I have far too many interests with only one single common theme, and that is guns. I don't know how many guns I have. I lost count. And really, I've been shooting now for about 8 years. I got my PAL because of Call of Duty, and I will proudly admit to that. Um, that if that doesn't paint a picture for some of your listeners, then I don't know what will.
I painted one of my guns white because there was a rogue spear gun that was white, and I really liked it. Video
Yeah.
game also.
I have painted an 870 Wingmaster in the camo that I like to call the gay giraffe.
Yeah,
Because-
we've seen that one. It's cute. I do like it.
Hot. I love it. And ever since then, it's just been in terms of I'm pointing upwards in terms of just getting more and more into the sport. I started with shotguns. I started with rifles. I got into pistols. Then I moved to Victoria for a while, and I slowed down. And then now that I'm back in Calgary, it's just been nuts. I finally got my firearm instructor business underway, and now I am working as a full-time firearms instructor. So I teach the Canadian Firearm Safety course all around Alberta. I was trying to focus on Calgary, and then I kept getting emails from Red Deer, from Turner Valley, from Drumheller, from Banff, from Edmonton. Now I just cast the net, and it's like, hey, if you're willing to pay me to show up there, then I'll drive up
There you
and do your test course for you. I reload. I dabbled very shortly in long range precision shooting. I got the rig, and then I had to move, and there was nowhere for me to bring the rifle, so I had to sell the rifle. It was a sad endeavor, but hey, I managed to print a .3 MOA group one day, and
Wow.
that was consistent. And then I started to myself, okay, after this, I've got to start playing with ogive and driving bullets into lands, and I don't have time for that. So away that particular side of the business went. My favorite platform is the Remington 870 Wingmaster. I have owned far too many of them, and I have now finally found the crown jewel of that collection, which is a mint condition 1969 Remington 870 Wingmaster with rifle sights. The gun looks like it was fresh out of the factory, and they're iconic.
Just kind of like collecting kuis. Like,
Yes.
yeah, they're old and kind of crappy, but
Yeah,
you can buy
absolutely.
lots
Like
of
the
them.
controls are stupid. Like why is the slide release, the action release on the 870 in front of the trigger guard from a place that you have to break your grip to actually open the action? It doesn't make any sense. The Mossberg 500 pattern is much better,
But not as smooth.
but it's not a Wingmaster.
Yeah.
It's not a Wingmaster. And I keep buying guns. And the last gun that I bought was a Glock 17 Gen 4. And right before that, just to completely show you that I have absolutely no taste, I bought a World War II, World War I champ back-to-back, 1911 and 45, because anything in 9mm and a 1911 platform is offensive to me.
Have I got the gun for you?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I've seen it, and I kind of
Chinese
like it, and at the same time, I
9mm.
feel gross that I like it. So that's kind of it. What else can I tell you about me?
I don't know. Do you do anything else besides? Are you like on any sites, forums, whatever?
What are you shooting right now? Like,
Okay, maybe that.
if coronavirus wasn't a thing right now, what would you be shooting in terms
Three
of
gun with this particularly obnoxious rig. I'd be shooting
looks
three
good.
gun. I'd be shooting three gun.
Cool.
And this guy that I'm holding in my hands is an Keltec RDB. I am a supporter of Keltec on principle. I am not a supporter on Keltec in terms of quality. This gun is amazing. The concepts behind it are amazing, and I wish I could be shooting it in three gun, but there are no three guns happening. not in
No?
Calgary, not easily.
Should be
I could
soon.
go to
Should be
Edmonton.
soon.
I could go to Edmonton and deal with Adriel, but I don't feel like it because that upsets me being in his presence too close for too long. And
Oh.
yeah,
Understandable.
it's understandable. And why I say I'm a ardent supporter of Celtic on concept is because you don't get this without living in Florida and doing massive amounts of cocaine. But man, I wish they did a little bit better quality control, honestly, because this thing, you're gonna like this. I'm not sure if it's a bug. I think it's a feature. This thing works with a broken firing pin. So right now, this thing has a broken firing pin. It's in 2 pieces, and it's still running.
It's still running. That's an issue.
Yes. Yeah. So
It should be an issue.
It should be an issue, but it isn't. So. Okay. Another problem with this rifle, the handguard, the OEM handguard is a pile of garbage. I am convinced, and I actually have proof now, that it completely destroys your groups as the barrel heats up because it's just a cheap, rattly piece of plastic. Then we have the Lucky Irishman Marks Raptor handguard here that allows you to have a free-floated but not really barrel. It is a much sturdier way to grab the rifle. You got M-lock. It's a little bit longer than the OEM handguard, and it's awesome. And now my groups are consistent. Before, as soon as you did 5, 6, 7, 8 shots, it went from a 1 to 2 to 3 MOA gun to a 6 or 7 MOA gun.
Ooh,
so that's not ideal. Now it's consistently a 1 to 3 MOA gun.
Yeah, that was an issue I had with SKSs as well. You get in like 10 rounds or so, and all of a sudden the group
and it goes up.
It's not paper plate anymore. It's you got tumbling?
No, the groups slowly, like on my SKSs, the groups drift to the right as it gets hot. Yeah. And after about 10 rounds, you're off the paper plate, off the 6-inch plate at 100.
Well, as long as you're a minute of capitalist, accurate.
You are in the first 2 5-round mags. You are, but after that,
no. The capitalists are safe.
You just got to aim to the left of them.
Okay,
lead them.
There you go. Okay,
yeah. 3-gun, eh?
3-gun. I'll be doing 3-gun if I had more time.
TFA and Milo both run it.
Yeah, if I had more time, if my wife wasn't pregnant with our second baby, and if I wasn't as busy making everybody in Alberta have their gun license, then I would be shooting 3-gun.
Awesome.
Or just to show how completely inconsistent I am, I'd be at the trap field because I love shooting trap.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar.
Completely same thing, honestly. I mean, one has a gun and the other one also has a gun. Actually, no, the other one has 3 guns. Never mind, it's not the same.
No, totally.
Even just the people that show up. You look at the kind of people that show up to 3-gun and the kind of people that show up to traps. Like, it's not
totally
the same
different.
Group.
No,
it's not the same demographic. Yeah. I think the difference in age is 5 decades.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
That would.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's your background. What topic you got for us?
Gun benches.
Cool.
Simple, but surprisingly in depth. So,
yeah, it is.
Folks, where do you gun at home?
I hate to admit it, but like the best I got is right next to me, and it's like covered in garbage. I don't really have a gun bench.
No, don't worry. It's supposed to be covered in garbage. If it's a clean gun bench, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I'm doing gun stuff, I do it on the floor like a pleb.
Is it at least not carpeted? Please tell me there's no carpet.
Carpet.
Oh, Jesus.
Carpet.
Okay. I have a couple of stories regarding doing gun things and carpets.
Every once in a while, got to bring out the vacuum and vacuum up a bunch of powder. Yeah.
Well, the powder's not that big of a deal. The problem is a screw. A filthy little effing screw that falls out of your gun, and the gun don't work without it. And then your wife decided that she wants a shag carpet.
Oh no, I don't have shag carpet. That'd be really bad because, like, I swear, every time you wouldn't know it looking at my videos on YouTube, but when I disassemble guns. No, when I disassemble guns, like the little detents and the springs, pretty much every time I do a new gun, something goes flying. Yeah, bing. So, I was like, I think I heard where that went, and I'll find it. But you gotta really keep your ears open.
I got 2 suggestions for you. Number one,
make it.
That you a very large Ziploc bag. The first
Yes.
time you're taking something apart, stick everything in a Ziploc bag so you can see it still, and then if shit goes flying. Sorry, if things go flying.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'll try. I'll try. If I wasn't trying, it'd be bad. And then it'll fly and stay in the bag. Number
Yeah.
2, if something did vacate the surrounding area by yeeting itself to the next corner of the room, magnetic rakes.
I don't think you understand how I operate though, because like I just kind of let her buck, and if it goes flying, it goes flying. Hopefully, it doesn't go down the register. That is a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take to run very sloppily and not put any precautions in place.
But you're doing something. You're doing something right. You have a workspace. The most unfortunate circumstance for somebody that wants to gun at home is having no space. And then what do you do? But before we get into that, Kelly, how do you gun at home?
Dinner table. That'd be nice. Yeah.
So
a woman after my own heart. So for 4 years, I dinner tabled as well.
Yeah. So I have a mat that I roll out and I put it up here, and I have lots of light and everything up here because in my gun room, and I do have a gun room actually.
Oh.
Yeah, a woman after your own heart, eh?
Yeah, a gun room. I wish I had a gun room.
The
wife said no.
It's cramped in there, and I could do it because it's a linoleum floor, but I prefer to do it up here. I'll just take
lighting is so important, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm running 4 lights in my gun room right now because I have like a crappy light fixture, like the one that came in the basement, which is just like. Actually, you can kind of see it. It's the same one that I have already here in this bedroom.
Overhead fluorescent or overhead LED. Those are okay.
They're bright. I replaced when we bought the house. I replaced every single light bulb in the house with an LED one, and I don't want to tell you how much we save in terms of electricity just doing that. But
okay, so getting back to guns.
So back to guns. Yes.
No, but if you're going to disassemble, like the inside of the gun is dark, you need good lighting. Check this thing out.
Oh yeah. You getting a suntan yet?
Articulating little dealy here. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I feel like my Colombianness is coming through already because I just got a little bit of sunlight. So it's gonna get darker, gonna get brown, a little more mocha going on. Diversity, Dave. And that is an excellent thing to have. Just a floodlight. A floodlight right on your work area. That is great. And that is a cheap way to improve your gun space at home. If you have space and you aren't upgrading it, or if you do have the space and you want to upgrade, where would you start, folks? Give me some ideas, and then I'll tell you whether or not I've gone down that route or not. I might have.
Okay. So here at home, I actually, as I said, I prefer to do, even though I have space downstairs in the gun room, it's a little cramped, but whatever. I prefer to do it up here. I have access YouTube University on a big screen.
Screen's
that's actually
nice.
That's
screen
important.
Is great. It is.
And lighting and that as well. But quite honestly, I also have access, and I have some of my presses installed on a bench at somebody else's place because she has a whole entire basement, unfinished basement with a series of different gun benches with tools in the back, and then you have your presses lined up.
Delicioso.
So that's actually
that is ideal. The ideal starting point is having nothing, literally studs and a concrete floor.
Exactly.
Because then you can just go whatever route you want. But if you're limited, let's say that you're limited in terms of space. But Adriel, before we move on to what I was thinking, Adriel, how would you upgrade if you could upgrade your space?
Oh, I'm super limited on space because I do most of my gun stuff right here. This is also my workspace for work. So my space on camera has to be clear of like gun stuff. But if I were to turn the camera around, it's like chock full of gun oil and AR-15 cleaning tools and pipe cleaners and I've got some tools down here that are all I need to clean. That's why, like, when you see the pictures I take on Instagram or something like that, you see like a crappy, dirty table. That's my desk surface. It's been beat to hell from like doing gun stuff on top of it. But it's also my computer desk.
Multi-purpose room.
It's very compact.
fine.
I can rotate in this chair. I'm like, oh, I need some like quick slick. I need like like a Lee reloading manual. It's all within arm's reach because it's all here.
No, having a space that you are familiar with is also helpful. The labeling, and is like some of the most basic things you can do is just put a label on things. One of the things that I had, and the longest issue for, was I have like 8 or 9 50 cal ammo cans with assorted different ammunitions and reloading components.
But
and
have
then
you
I just
labeled
grabbed
them?
masking tape, Sharpie. This is the 30 cal stuff. This is the 223 stuff. This is the pistol stuff. This is brass. This is 12 gauge. This is 9 mil. This is 223.
With a grain.
And now I know. Now I don't have to juggle things around. Before, you had to keep a mental note of which box was stacked on top of what. Now I know where everything is, relatively speaking. So labeling is a really easy way to clean up your space.
There we go.
But
I'll have this for my space now.
What does that say? Send nudes?
Pipe cleaner.
Oh, pipe cleaners. Okay.
So, but if you're labeling those cans, you should actually, so instead of just 9 mil or whatever, label it with what recipes there too.
Yes, that is a step above, basically,
yeah.
because you can be familiar with your 9mm stuff. If you just have factory 9mm ammo, which is what I'm doing right now, because I still hold on to the belief that we're not going to see prices where 9mm reloading on bulk is something that you want to do unless you have a lot of free time. It's heading that direction.
Yeah,
it's a lot if you only have a single stage like this sucker. You're gonna struggle trying to make 9mm on a volume where you can justify the time expenditure. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things in your workspace is you want to economize your space so that you can economize your time.
Yes, and that's what you should be doing. So, and if you can multitask at the same time, except for when you're actually loading. So if you're reloading and doing your powder, you should actually be paying attention to what you're doing.
I agree.
So, but the other thing is too, when you're talking about this and you're talking about setup and bare bones, etc. But if you're doing stuff with lead and you're doing stuff with powder, you need ventilation. You have to have that into consideration as well. And that's one of the reasons why, my gun room downstairs is not a great idea because it's has no ventilation whatsoever. So take that into account too. Take that lighting piece. But yeah, I'm kind of taking over this. This was your topic. You go ahead.
No, see, that's good. That's good. No, I like that. It's like because you bring up a good point. And one of the easiest ways to resolve that issue is, number one, you can get a fan, but that's not ideal.
No.
Go to something non-toxic. So everybody and their mother who likes guns, obviously, is aware of Hoppy's number 9.
Yep.
Hoppy's number 9 has a very particular scent, but that scent is not a good scent, actually. That scent is solvents and ethers and a whole bunch of other things. And
it's a great scent if you like to huff, just saying.
Exactly. If you want to kill brain cells, crack open your Hoppies and go to town. You'll see some fun things really quick. But that's not ideal if you have a poorly ventilated room, and that's where you're going to be doing your gun cleaning.
Correct.
So one thing that I did to avoid entirely that, CLP. CLP doesn't give you a headache. It is still something that on the label it says, don't be in a closed room with this. Don't spray it in your face and, maybe you'll see something, maybe you don't. But CLP is not as harsh as Hoppy's number 9. Similarly, if you're reloading, maybe stick to jacketed stuff only. Don't have lead kicking around. And one of the biggest issues, in fact, I think Trevor ran into this issue, primers, depriming. Depriming is the biggest source, I think. Don't quote me on this.
Of reloading?
Lead. Yeah,
I would have thought there's some high lead stuff with reloading, tumbling, brass. Oh,
yes. Well, no,
especially when you crack that baby open, like the lead dust coming out of there. But like reloading and kicking the primers, like the primer handling, probably.
Yeah.
If you kick your primers into like a tube, like the Lee Progressive.
All right, not everybody has a fancy press, Adriel.
It's not that.
Okay, so but what we're talking about is
it's mitigating. It's mitigating all of those sources.
Right, mitigating or what we would like to see. So, but you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. Not everybody has all that stuff, and some people are
And-
doing hand reloading, and so.
Like
But
my
you,
buddy, yeah, like my buddy. His gun space is non-existent. He actually doesn't have a gun space. He's got his guns in a safe in his closet, and then everything else he has to do has to be done in his living space
Living
because he
space.
has
Yeah.
a condo with a bathroom, a beautiful, beautiful marble bar behind the kitchen, and then his living room and his bedroom, and that's his space. So where
Just
does he
clamped a
gun?
2x4 on that marble?
Mm. And
Oh,
if
that's
you
terrible.
need a place to put a press, a 2x4 is not good enough. I recommend a 2x10.
I ran them
Okay.
on a 2x4 before.
It's doable on a 2x4,
Yeah.
but you don't have a lot of real estate, and then it can flex. A 2x10, it's a flat piece of wood. That thing is not that much more expensive. You have a
Mhm.
lot more real estate. You can have a lot of weight, and that is one of the things that you don't think about often. Is if
Are
you're
you clamping
clamping,
it sideways or are you clamping it long ways?
even long ways. If you have a small enough table, like when you dinner table,
okay,
if
I go
clamp it on
long
one
ways.
side, you
I
pull
go
the
long
press, and
ways.
something gets a little
It's
stuck. You
just
put
the
a little
press,
pressure on that.
clamp on it.
okay.
That whole table can tip.
If you don't have a lot
Oh,
of
true, yeah.
room, one of the recommendations I would have, and set it up, is a small little workhorse, one of those flexible, collapsible ones. Bring it back up, put your 2x4, put your press in it, and you're good to go. It's the size of, grandma. You went over grandma's house and you'd have like one of those little
Rocking
TV
chair?
trays. No, I'm talking TV trays. I meant about food. So you'd have the little TV tray, but your press, if you single stage press, that's what I was doing, watching Matlock. No.
Yep. I'm sorry. Watching what?
Golden Girls, come on.
Gold.
No.
What?
Damn it. Grey's Anatomy. No, that's still really old too.
No,
Okay.
no. They've been on. They're still on though. Are they still?
I know,
on?
but nobody watches it.
They really don't. I mean, I think my wife watches it.
No. Anyways, but I've done that while watching a movie and depriming or
Or priming, actually.
priming.
Yeah.
So it's a workhorse, just a
Mhm.
small one, and you secure it to it. So if you don't have the room and you're working in your living room or living space, that's an option.
That's an option. That's what my friend does. He doesn't have a press, and he didn't want to invest into a press. He actually bought one for like a Black Friday deal, and then he sold it because it's like I can't mount this thing anywhere. So you know what he did?
Mhm.
Lee hand press. Okay, if you
The
are
right kind of ammo for if the ammo
he's making 308. He's making 308, and he's making 308 only for his hunting rifle. Like that's it. Like he's got one weighted projectile
Why didn't you just borrow yours and crank out like 80 rounds and he's done for
because
life?
he's a bitch.
know.
Because he doesn't want to come over. You know, he watches
Well,
He
this.
could
By
have
the way,
just
he's gonna
done. He
like
could
that.
have just made like 80 rounds of soft point, and you're done. That's a lifetime supply for a
Right.
hunter.
Yeah, no,
right.
but that's the thing. He's dipped his toe in it. He's bought a tumbler and then sold it because he didn't want to tumble in his living space.
Yeah. You
Okay,
can't.
you
Yeah.
can't.
So you know what he did? He did the soap and oven method. So he
Okay.
dunked it in soap with I think he had vinegar in there to kind of like give it a little shine, a little
It's
bit.
hard. You vinegar
It's-
it, but then you got to rinse the vinegar off.
Then
or
you
else
gotta
it'll
rinse the
tarnish
vinegar off,
it,
and then you have
gotta
to
put
dry it
in
in
the
your oven.
Yeah,
Okay.
But hey, that is utilizing the space and the
Mhm.
tools that you have available. If you cannot even use your living space, another solution that a friend of mine does
Garage.
that is ingenious, not garage, rental
work-
unit,
uh,
like
a
a
what?
like a rental space.
Rental space. Yeah,
Like a
I'm
rental
not renting.
space.
I'm not
Like a
renting
storage,
space.
sorry, storage unit.
Storage
Oh,
unit.
mini
Storage unit.
storage.
Jesus, the
Okay, I'm not
Spanish just
doing
kind of
that. I have a
creeps in there
garage.
and
That's
just
where
like
we
the
tumble.
ESL kicks up to high gear, and I forget what I'm saying. Diversity, Dave. And storage space is an excellent solution. Okay, if you can spare the money and just have a box, not a place that I would keep guns though, but a lot of reloading, maybe even some ammunition. Again, if I'll
What
give
do
you a
they
situation.
cost?
My
What do these things cost?
girlfriend doesn't like guns. My girlfriend doesn't want me to reload at home. My husband says that I can't do this because the kids will get into it and they'll suck on a bullet. Like literally, like they'll sit there chewing lead. Okay, so you gotta remove all of this from your living space. Storage unit. You can do it. It's not ideal. It's not
Typical
ideal.
storage unit is $100 per month.
Per month, yeah. I'm just looking at some right
So you're
now.
looking at $1,200. Not the best, because if you actually are reloading or if you're doing cleaning or whatever, it's again not ventilated. Or if it is ventilated, you got the door open and then you got people. But
What you doing there, neighbor? Just reloading some
Just
ammo. Why don't you come on in and
I did have
check
a
it out?
neighbor walk by once when I was Duracoating that shotgun, and he's like saying, "So, I see you're always painting guns, eh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, how come they're such happy colors?
because I'm happy.
Because we're such happy guys.
Yeah.
And then thinking back on it, I was like, he was implying something there, and I did not catch it. I really didn't. So I just blamed it on the ESL and I moved on. But yeah, no. So let's say you do have the space. Let's say you have the primo starting point, the bare basement.
Yes. But still, you're going to have to tumble and all that, get a ventilated area. But then in the bare basement, what you are typical, not typical. If your ultimate would be setting up a range in the basement.
That
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
be
fun.
Oh,
But
you're
HVAC
going
is
really far here.
expensive.
I was thinking like
Unless
maybe
you're an HVAC
island.
specialist, that's gonna cost you.
You're
Or
talking
you
about
could
it, the
just YOLO it
ultimate.
and then monitor your lead levels. What's a little lead done to anybody? You
Ah,
already had your kids.
A tunnel. You get the fan going the one way. Get some
No,
pressure
not the
going
fan.
there.
2 fans.
2 fans. Ooh,
2
fancy.
fans.
Fancy.
Oh,
fancy.
I know. And it's like the Dyson ones, the ones that don't make a sound. Ooh. Then you have the real life experience
Just
of
quiet wind. Coming
quiet
by.
wind. Oh, it's like a breeze.
It's a wind tunnel.
It's a wind.
Okay, so yeah,
I think the thing that I would love the most is really well arranged tools in easy
Yes.
to access places, like a nice rack of screwdrivers and all the gunsmith screwdrivers,
I'm
not the
going to
flats
try.
that are like angled and don't.
So
Hey, Adriel, I'm going to send you the picture of my gun space, so you can post it, so you can screenshot.
Have the gun bench, and then on the back of the gun bench, have shelving on either side. But on the back of it, have a pegboard and shadow board with various.
Adriel, bring up the picture.
With the various tools.
Wait.
And that's actually awesome.
Adriel, bring up the picture.
And then all of the little, I have.
One?
Oh yeah,
That's yours?
that's mine.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually kind of
Ooh,
like
tools.
what we have set up.
Tools.
You got a hacksaw there. It's like, you know what? This
Yep.
barrel has got to go.
I have
Pull it off the
actually
wall.
done it. I have actually gone. This barrel needs to be 6, 7, 8, 9 inches shorter. Let it rip. Okay, that was before I got the Dremel. Now I have a Dremel. It's the little box. It's gone.
Go back.
It's gone. Yeah.
Dremel on there too, right?
There's a Dremel in there. I have a safe down there. And here's a thing that a lot of people don't think about. Where do you keep your guns? Oh, in the safe. Okay. Why not 2 safes?
Why not 3?
Why not 3?
Why not 3?
Why not?
Okay. Why not 2 and a gun rack? Ooh.
Why not a gun room?
The wife said no.
You got the
Okay.
wrong wife.
Oh, my buddy set up the gun room, and that is the way to go.
Oh,
One nice lock on the way in, some secured stuff on the way in, and then you don't have to deal with all the other stuff. But like a good side one is the safe. Like a lot of people who have guns don't have a safe. They have their gun with the bolt taken out or the lock on it.
Trigger
and
locks.
They have it.
Trigger
They have it
locks.
underneath the bed, and
That is
that's
yeah.
the terrible way to do it, because if you put it in the safe, you can have the ammo with the gun or not with the gun.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's just easier.
and that is one of the that's one of the most common really moments when I'm teaching the PAL courses is like, okay,
I thought you were
what is
allowed
the
to store the
minimum
ammo
legal
with it.
standard
Yeah,
for
you
storing
can.
non-restricted firearms in Canada? Well, actually, this is a bad gun because this is restricted. Okay. Trigger lock done. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Like under the like under the bed with a trigger lock. Yep. Closet. Yep. Drawer. Sock drawer. No, if it fits, sure.
Sock drawer in a
Big
sock.
sock drawer. You got some big socks there.
Yeah.
Diversity,
sock.
Dave.
Is that a gun, or are you just happy to see me?
There you go. Okay. But yeah, the picture that I sent Adriel, that is my gun space. It is in the basement, and air circulation would be an issue, and not for the fact that the furnace is literally right around the corner, and there's a vent right above my face. So that helps. But if the furnace isn't running, then there is no air circulation. So that's also an issue. So I don't really tumble in the home, obviously, considering also that I have infants and children are more susceptible to lead. So if I tumble outside. And when I open the thing, I'm wearing gloves. And when I'm done, in case you didn't know, you can get de-leading laundry soap. And then you can just completely eliminate the lead from the home. So that's one thing to consider. One of the things that I found to be incredibly helpful was, you're 100% right, Kelly, shelving. If you saw on the corner to the left of the benches was shelving. And speaking of benches, the core of your workspace, you have one or two options. You can build it or you can buy it. And let me tell you, I kind of sort of crunch the numbers, and unless you have the know-how, the tools, and the skill and the time, Canadian Tire Special just kind of wins out most of the time.
Wow, lumber is so expensive right now too. It's like 3
Mhm.
times the cost. So,
Right. Well, this again, when I did those numbers, now that you mentioned that, the calculations were pre-pandemic prices. So right now, I really think the Canadian Tire Special might be your best option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the best surface is for a workbench? Wood? I think
Wood
so.
is versatile, but wood will show a lot of wear quickly.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if you're banging or pounding on, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing that with your gun.
Well, I
cares?
have.
Anyways.
So
hell
back
out of
when
it.
AR-15s were a thing, I had accidentally on occasion put roll pins that were like securing a gas block. That was like, man, this is being like really difficult to get in. Okay, I got it in, and then okay, it's kind of like, why is it stuck to the table? Because I pushed it through too much, and then I embedded the roll pin into the wood of the bench, and then there is like little
But
imprints all over the bench. But
if you have wood, you can actually drill into it and secure your stuff to it.
and that is
So,
what there
and
is.
that's why there is.
And
That's
you
what-
can beat on a gun on top of it, and it's not going to mar the other
Yeah,
side of the
no.
gun.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I went. Like that particular bench is, I think, a maximum bench that I got on Canadian Tire, and I was super greasy because if you saw, there's two of them.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah,
first
saw
time I
that.
bought one of those, I bought it on sale for 33% off, and then I assembled it. And I was like, I like this bench. I like it so much, I want to buy another one. And then I noticed that they were on sale now for 50% off.
You know that bench that you have?
Yeah.
It's in my garage.
Yeah, it's a good bench.
That's where we were tumbling.
It's a good bench. It's a good bench. It's got 2 drawers. It's got space below for storing stuff. It's got the pegboard, and it's got another shelf on top. It's excellent, right? So the second one was for 50% off, and I thought to myself, So I bought one, and then I went to another Canadian Tire, and I returned it, and I returned it with the receipt of the first one.
Yeah, grinding it. I love it.
Then I went to a third Canadian Tire,
Sauce.
and I bought another one at 50% off. And now I have 2 benches that were 50% off each.
Okay.
So that's how cheap I am. I'm incredibly cheap, because you haven't told. That story really illustrates how cheap I am.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be specific. You don't have to go and search out like Cabela's or workbenches for guns. You can actually adapt anything. You can adapt a mechanic's bench.
Yeah, no, and
Those
like
actually
I
are
said,
good.
if you have the know-how, if you already had the lumber, because I know people that have a pile of lumber in their yard, and it's just, oh yeah, no, I work with lumber, and I have all these leftover pieces.
rich.
My dad built his own bench, because
Yeah, you can.
you can, like, like
So what?
4 legs. Here's the top. Put a couple of cross beams, and the thing's sturdy. Good to go.
So what you're saying is know your situation, know where you are, and figure it out based on what's available to you. There's so many different options. Like
There are many
seriously.
options, but let me tell you that it is quite the experience to have a space. A lot of people underestimate the benefit, just the way to enrich your time and your soul and give yourself a little reprieve. Just remove yourself from everything, go into your space and just do your thing. And you mentioned this earlier. You're 100% correct. You know what lives on the bench? A little laptop, a little screen. Oh, wait, I need to figure out how to disassemble a Remington Nylon 66 because the one that I gave to
Not a
Adriel,
little-
I sold. And
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm just going to Google that up and I'm going to look
Yeah.
at the video that Adriel made with the gun that I gave
But
him the
it's
first time to
so
figure out
much
how to disassemble
better.
the second one.
It's so much better when it's 60 inches and on the wall.
And if you have the
Bigger is
space,
better. The phone is too small to,
Yeah.
to try to disassemble something with a phone.
Yeah.
It's too small. So to have like a couple of monitors is really nice to be able to pull it up.
I know
And
some
then,
people that have mounted like a small flat screen to the wall and just
Mhm.
have a cable running to it to like a Chromecast or something like that.
Yeah.
Just done. You have access to whatever you want.
Yeah, and watch Slamfire Radio as you read.
Watch Slamfire Radio. Maybe look up Foothills Farms. Training, and then you can get your gun license or something like that.
Yeah, but we're talking live or not live or video. If you're looking it up, Foothills is pretty static there.
Yeah.
You need to get some videos.
I know.
on
I have
there.
video.
Yes,
I have
video.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a long time since I looked.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's got some on like how to use some of the different firearms. That
Yeah,
people
I have
can, like-
videos on all the guns that are in the course that are axe improving them.
Did
'Cause that's
you? Okay, this is like a squirrel moment, but did you get some new guns to take to the firearms course other than the ones that?
I did.
Oh,
did.
thank God.
Thank
God.
The initial set of guns
They were horrible.
they were horrible. They were
they were.
absolutely horrible. The reason that I went with those guns is because they were the guns on the book, and I thought maybe the student will associate more easily the image on the book with the thing on the table for them. And I really didn't see that. They were still all like when a new shooter picks up a gun and they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is a gun."
It needs to be easy to manipulate, not
Matching
a picture
above
to
all
it.
things, it just needs to be easy to manipulate. So I actually had, was an example, I had a 1911 pattern firearm. I had a Tokarev. Yes, it's a 1911 pattern firearm. Yes, it was designed by a drunk Russian, but in spirit, it's just the drunk Russian's version of the 1911. Okay. And as much as I love the design and John Moses Browning is the prophet, this thing is a little bit backwards in a few aspects. For example, set the safety on this. That's easy, David. But set the safety on a Tokarev. The Tokarev doesn't have an external manual safety. It only has a half cock. So set the safety, student, on this here semi-automatic pistol. Oh God, I gotta pinch the hammer and I gotta pull the trigger and I gotta drop it. Ah! No.
Yeah.
No.
So
Anyways.
that was a problem.
Yeah, Glock or something.
It was that was my bad. I asked you if you got new guns.
That's true. It's your fault.
It's all my fault. That's okay. I get blamed frequently. It's fine.
So do I. But for other
It's a
reasons.
thing.
It's usually
It's a
my
thing.
fault. If something's going wrong in the house, I'm sorry, sweetie. My ball. My bad. I'll get you some chocolate.
Awesome. Yeah. Anyways, so if we get back to the bench,
Reloading presses. You mentioned them. Should you mount them, or do you want to keep the surface kind of pristine? And can you just clamp a 2x10 to your bench, or just suck it up and get the hand drill out? That was one of the biggest decisions that I had to make, because I thought to myself, look, I spent money on this bench. I don't really want to drill into the top of the counter.
Get after it. just get after it.
I was
Just
fiddling
get
for the
business.
longest time about where to like and how to clamp the thing, and then I had like a spot that I was clamping the thing with a C clamp, and then I just said F that.
Screw it. Just do
And
it.
I
Here it's
put
gonna
the
be
band, I put the reloading press on the corner, and I thought that would be me happy. And then I realized that wasn't really that good of a spot, so I ended up moving the bench. I mean, moving the press to the middle of the bench, and now there's just two holes kind of hanging out on the side over there in the corner. But I don't care. I never go in that corner anyways.
you can fill it with like a dowel.
That sounds like work, and I have no time for that sort of thing.
If you need
Probably
to
have
fill
some
it.
spare dowels from your IKEA furniture. Just get the
Yeah.
IKEA dowels and just hammer them in there with some wood.
No,
glue.
actually, you know what? You know what's a surprisingly helpful thing to have as a gun owner that not a lot of people think of? What if you get a squib? Oh,
A dowel.
a dowel.
Yeah.
A dowel
I've
as
shattered
close to the
dowels
diameter.
trying to take the squibs out.
Well,
I
it
went to a
depends
hobby
on.
store and I got the brass rod. That's the shit.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the shit.
If you're like an inch or two from the chamber, then the wood dowel is good enough. But if it's like halfway in the barrel, then you're gonna need a brass rod.
Yeah.
Okay. So the consensus is you mount it.
You do.
Don't pussyfoot around. Just mount the damn thing because it's going to be secure.
Very eloquently
if
put.
you're reloading, you want the thing to be secure. So just do it. So
do
the next thing is tools. What tools do you want on your tool bench? By the way, I'm taking over the show. So
as many tools as you can gather. One of the things that my dad has is he's got a garage room because he doesn't have a garage, so he turned a bedroom into his garage, and he's got 3 shelves on all 3 walls, and it's just full of tools. And I said to myself, I'm not gonna hoard that badly, but I'm gonna get close. Okay, so wrenches, screwdrivers, drill bits, screwdriver bits, a vise. Oh, for the love of all dear things, get a vise. If you want to see how a vise is used properly, you can watch Anvil Gunsmithing on YouTube. Mark Novak, he tells you exactly how you use a vise. There's a way to use a vise, David. Well, if you don't want to put a metal clamp on your barrel, yeah, there's a better way to do that, folks. It's called chunks of wood. Just clamp it with a chunk of wood and then put the metal jaws on the thing. You're gonna get just as good a purchase, and you're not going to be clamping the barrel with metal jaws. I've found guns sometimes
that will damage it.
you go like, oh, like I remember. Okay, that's inside. That's besides part of this. I'm gonna stick to the topic.
Okay. So
hammers. Hammers.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised by the variety of hammers that you require. You can get your run-of-the-mill bone standard hammer with the claw for the nails in the back. Rubber mallets. Oh.
Yeah, you need
rubber
mallet.
and nylon.
Yeah.
Get the one that's got each side, one rubber on one.
But those are gunsmithing ones, right? Those are a little bit more specialized.
Nah,
but
you
that's
get that
it.
at Princess Auto. Princess Auto.
No, but
has
that's what
that
I mean,
stuff.
right? You have to go into a tool shop to get something. Then it's a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
So that's not a Home Depot thing. It might be a Home Depot. I don't know.
They'll
But if
have
you
those
can
at
get-
Home Depot too.
Yeah,
They'll
but
have
they're-
them at
they're
everywhere.
If they
cheap.
do, that's great. But
Yeah.
something like that, punches,
Non-marring.
punches.
Yeah, you need punches.
Punches.
The other thing that would be helpful too is to send dental picks as well.
Hmm?
Mhm.
Dental picks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
So
if you-
handy.
And again, those are actually available at Princess
Princess
Auto.
Auto.
They do have those. I need to get a lot of those actually.
And like a big F-off hammer, like a 4-pounder. So if
Yeah.
something's getting rude with you, you just get your
get it.
drift and you get the 4-pounder and it is gonna move.
And it's time to move. Also, I found it surprisingly helpful. If you bring up the picture again of the bench, Adriel, you'll see it. It's off to the right. A no F's given pipe wrench, like a pipe wrench, like like the one on BioShock, like the big meaty guy that you used to beat on the splicers. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. So yes, a
Pipe
big,
Plumbing pipe wrench, yeah.
big pipe wrench that I have found a lot of uses for. Like if something is not moving,
I have too.
It'll move.
it'll move.
It'll
you
wreck
know?
whatever it's getting hold of, but
Yeah.
it'll move.
If there is a here's a good example. If you've got a muscle device, like let's say on a WK180, and the little SOB doesn't want to budge, number one, try heat. Before you get to the pipe wrench, try a little bit of heat. Try a little bit of penetrating oil. And if that doesn't work and you don't feel like trying to cut it off, because that's a bad idea considering the threads for the thing are built into the barrel itself,
Take it to the gunsmith.
no, get the pipe wrench out.
Dremel,
Pipe
Dremel,
wrench.
pipe wrench. I would do all sorts of
Oh,
rude things to that gun
God.
before I took it to a gunsmith.
Yeah, no,
But
see, there is a methodology to this, okay? Yes, you can ape it. You can go gorilla ape poop on it. Or you
right
can,
quick.
you can just get the stupid wrench out and get that bastard off so you can put your Spectre Ballistics hex brake on it.
That
Okay.
other brake is not going to be no good, though. It's going to have some marks in it from the teeth on that.
That'll become an excellent talking piece. It's like, this is what happens when somebody decides to monkey on a muscle device. I seriously have no idea who they got putting together those rifles, the WKs. Like the screws holding the handguard. How many do you have to cut off, Adriel, to get the handguard off of that
I
thing?
gave up trying to get the handguard off.
Okay. On my WK, I got 5 off easy, 2 of them stripped, and 1 I had to cut off.
Yeah.
That's 8.
Yeah. So there were 8.
I counted.
Oh, you
that
added
high.
it. Did you use your fingers?
No, it was like in my head and
Oh!
everything. It was in my head and
I'm gonna
everything.
choke on this, please. No.
Shouldn't there be 6?
Oh,
2
No.
on each side, 2 on the bottom?
Nope. 2, 2, 2.
2 on the top?
Yeah, the WK has 2, 2, 2, 2 at
Oh, they're angled.
3
Yeah.
at 3, 5, 7, and 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I thought they were at 6 o'clock for some reason.
No, you're high.
I just don't bother taking mine apart. I just shoot it.
Yeah, well, I had to take it apart because I got to put a dank Chinesium alloy blue handguard on it just to make it extra dank, and it was
Yep.
pretty dank for a while.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else that I can think of about benches? Yeah, just drawers. Drawers are a problem. Drawers can be problematic because that is the place that things that don't find a home get chucked into. Okay, so there's a drawer on my bench that is the I need this off the
Junk
bench
drawer.
drawer. I need this off the bench drawer. Open drawer, insert thing, close drawer, forget about it. And then that's a problem because then you go, I have to get into the drawer to find this stupid thing. And then you
Yeah.
open the drawer and you hate yourself a little bit inside. I think, unless you guys have anything else regarding benches,
go to
that is a conversation about benches.
go to the storage, not storage. Go to the Dollarama and get storage bins and label them.
That's one easy way to create a little bit of organization. I do have, and that's a garbage can. Oh, get a garbage can. A lot
You're
of people.
excited about garbage cans. Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly, for the longest time, I had to like scoop shit off the top onto a little dustbin and then walk like an a-hole to the other side of the house and then dump it in. Get a garbage can and dump it right in there.
Well, you'll need stuff. You'll need that right quick because as soon as you start using like cleaning wipes and
Sorry.
pipe cleaners and all that kind of stuff, it needs to go in the garbage or gloves or whatever.
Mhm.
I like having one of those boxes of Nylex gloves. Just if I'm going to clean a gun
Yeah.
and I know it's going to be dirty, crack out the gloves because otherwise it's going to
What,
be
you
dirty.
don't like to go to bed smelling like garage on your hands?
I got
great.
some of that Gojo juice,
Goof.
the orange
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh.
That's good for cleaning all that kind of crap off.
No,
Yeah.
there is a lot. It is a surprisingly in-depth conversation you can have about how you're going to set up a gun bench. But that's the thing. Some people don't have the ability to set up a gun bench. So just work with what you have, okay? You don't even have a workspace. You don't have the ability to create an area for
Make
gun.
friends. Go find somebody who does.
Like Adriel
Like
said, my friend
diversity
really,
day.
instead of being sitting there in his living room with like an a-hole with his little hand reloading tool, he could just come here and use my bench, honestly. And I've actually had that happen to a couple of. He has actually come in a couple of times and is like, okay, we got to install a muzzle device. I can do this at home and I could just thread it on and get it as tight as I can on there. Or I can go to Dave's place. We can put the Geisley reaction rod on the vise, put the opera on that bastard, and reef it on and time it just right.
Mm-hmm. Saves a lot of time and
Oh.
frustration.
Having the right tools, and that's one thing that actually really ticked me off. May 1st of last year, I was getting pretty good at building AR-15s, and I had all the tools to do it.
Yeah.
You can still build.
I
You can take
I'm
them
in the
apart,
I'm in the process of cannibalizing
again.
parts to build an
Take 'em
LCP. I just haven't gotten around. Or have you seen that jarred 180?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
It's DI.
I know.
True-
That's so
True
weird.
DI, not like an AR-15 is like DI,
No.
but there's a piston
No.
inside the inside.
Here's the thing.
bolt.
I'm gonna blow your mind on the schematics made by frick. Now I'm gonna lose my mind trying to think about his name. Is the guy that designed the AR-15?
Stoner.
Stoner.
Eugene Stoner.
On Eugene Stoner's drawings for the AR-10, the predecessor of the AR-15, that was downscaled for creating the AR-15. He describes the system inside of the bolt carrier group as a piston.
Mhm.
The AR-15 is not DI, it's a piston gun, except the piston is contained within the bolt carrier.
Yep.
It's on the drawings, folks. You can look it up. But yeah, that JAR 180, you're 100%. It's like that Mass, what is it? The Mass 39, the World War II French rifle that's DI. That is a true DI gun. It literally just has
Kicks
a
it back
tube
with the gas.
coughing gas into the action.
Yep.
That's how it works. There is
Okay.
no piston, nothing. It's just coughing into the action, and it coughs the bolt carrier to the back.
Okay, so
Well, Dave.
Adriel,
Yeah,
is your house on fire?
I'm near a hospital.
Oh,
I live near a hospital.
I was wondering. Yeah. So either
I had it muted there for a second. I was trying.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So thanks for coming on and telling us all about gun benches, Dave.
Yeah.
Anytime, Adriel.
Interesting
Anytime,
topic.
Kelly.
Yeah.